Hey, good morning. Welcome to Silver Nuts Garage. I am getting ready to work on this 1947 WL45. My buddy and I took a little tour down to southern Ohio. We put about 160 miles on the old bikes, and my primary chain is tight. So I'm going to adjust that and kind of go over what I do to adjust it. So long story short, primary cover's right here. That comes off. There's a nut right here. Footboard bracket goes there. I loosened up the footboard bracket here and on the back side enough to loosen this up to take it off, to pop this cover off. And there's only one bolt here, and there is another bolt back here that holds it on. Once I got it off, this was really tight. Should be about, I don't know, you can look, people say a quarter to a half at the actual tight spot of the chain. So you have to put your bike on a stand so you can move the rear wheel, and that you can check your drive chain. But you have to, or at least I do, come over here and engage your clutch and go ahead and move your gearbox enough to move your chain over here to find your tight spot. Once you find your tight spot, you come down here. There's those three nuts right there you need to loosen up. And once you loosen those up, this back nut, you can put a wrench on it. If you turn it clockwise, it'll tighten your primary chain. If you turn it counterclockwise, it will loosen your primary chain. So I went ahead and loosened everything up, backed this off. I am looking for my tight spot now. I kind of like that. I usually take something, a rule or however you want to do it, and I'll stick it in the middle of the chain, and I'll gauge that, and then I will push this up, and I'll see if I can get my half. That's not quite a half. It's about, a quarter, 3/8. So I'm going to mess around and adjust this, and then I'll show you how this chain affects, or the movement of the transmission is what you're doing to tighten this chain or loosen it, and how that affects other things in the bike that you need to check once you get the proper adjustment of your primary chain. All right, so with the shifter in neutral and the clutch engaged, toe to go, I loosened those nuts, 3 nuts right there, and adjusted this adjustment screw right here, and got this chain. I also used the Kickstarter to kick it to move this chain to get it to its tightest spot. When I found the tightest spot, I went ahead and that's my adjustment. It's about it's 3/8, somewhere in there on the tight spot. So when I get to the loose spot, it'll probably be about a half, but not enough to slop around and hit the top of my case and make noise and things of that nature. So one of the things you have to watch is when you adjust this, we're moving the transmission back and forward for this adjustment of the primary chain. That also, in turn, as this moves, which is the transmission, gearbox, whatever you want to call it, your secondary chain will also move. So as I loosen this and move it this way, I'm going to tighten this chain. So you have to take it in sequence. You want to start with your primary chain on the other side, come to your secondary chain or your drive chain, and then adjust it to where it needs to be. And to adjust that, you have to back off these lock nuts, take off your nut here, your retainer, and start to adjust there. Again, I do have the bike lifted. It's off the ground a little bit, as you can see, just enough that you can move that wheel. And that's how you adjust your primary and then your secondary chain. And the other couple things to kind of keep in mind is when you do adjust that, typically if you're adjusting them slightly, it doesn't make a big difference, but realize that it does affect your clutch adjustment, and it does affect your shifter linkage. So you want to check that when you're finished too. So a lot of good videos out there on this. Check them out. Have a good day.